Koyang! 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 Hello, I'm Stephen Hammond with Christian Values Investing. Today we're going to be analyzing Ford Motor Company. And the reason why we're trying to make a decision, should we add Ford Motor Company to our biblically responsible portfolios? If you love Ford, it's first on race day. If you don't, it's found on the road dead. But what we want to check out today is Ford, its fundamentals, its technicals, analysis. How does that company look? Is it poised for growth? Will it make us some money? We're about making money for our clients. So could Ford be a possible buy for our biblically responsible portfolio? Most of y'all may know that Ford Motor Company was started in 1903 by Henry Ford. He started the assembly line, made the Model Ts, the Model As, and started mass producing Fords, and Ford became a household name. Ford rolled out the first V8 engine as far as I can remember. General Motors came out later in 55 with the V8, but Ford is known all over the world. But the question is, should Ford be added to our biblically responsible portfolio? So first thing we really want to look at is the fundamentals of Ford. Now, if you look at the fundamentals of Ford, you'll see that their earnings per share ranking is fairly well. It's in around the 84-85% range, which is pretty good. They are up right now from basically December 1st till right now. They're up about 12.6% compared to a little over 10% for the S&P 500. So since December 1st, they're outperforming the S&P. Now, if you go to January 1st, year to date, actually the S&P is outperforming Ford. So Ford had a really good December. But we're looking at poise going forward. What is Ford going to do? Is it going to make investors money? Is it going to just kind of sit and do nothing? But the million-dollar question, why it's sitting and doing nothing, is paying a 5% dividend or fairly close. Maybe it can sit there, Grayson, and actually pay a decent dividend while the market investors are finding out about it, and for probably potential growth somewhere down the road. Grayson, share with us some fundamentals that you found on Ford.
Yeah, that 5% dividend is pretty good, and they even have some special dividends, I think, that are coming out in the near future. You were mentioning that a little bit earlier, the 18% or 18-cent one that's coming out on March 1st, I believe. But yeah, it's interesting to look at that, and also think about, while I'm waiting on it to get maybe where it should be or where it's supposed to be, I can make a little bit of money in the meantime. And so I was looking at a report, and I think I was looking at a couple different ones, and they range from about $13 to $19 of where they think the fair value for Ford Motor Companies is. And if it's at $11 right now and it gets up to $19, that's a pretty good return. So it's hard to argue with that. But you also got to look at some of the possible downsides of it too. Like, for instance, they've invested $50 billion, and they plan to continue to from 2022 to 2026. So $50 billion over that time frame into electric vehicles. And their biggest electric vehicle that they've been trying to sell has been the Mach-E, which is the new Mustang that obviously is electric. And just in 2023, on that vehicle alone, they lost $4.7 billion, which is definitely a problem and something that investors would want to be wary of.
Well, tell us a little bit, Grayson, about what they were suffering in the last quarter with the United Auto Workers.
Yeah, so in October, they actually had one of the biggest strikes against them in recent history at least. Ford has always had pretty good relations with the auto unions, but after this one, their CEO Farley has actually said that he would consider moving, not necessarily moving, but next time they're going to build a plant, building it somewhere else. And I think what he meant by that was building them overseas or in Mexico or something like that. GM and the other big one, I think it starts with a F, have already done that, and Ford has traditionally said no, it's a price that's worth paying to have our factories in the U.S. But I think after this last one, it's been kind of a bitter pill for Ford to swallow with how much they ended up having to lose after that strike. Some numbers showed that they ended up missing out on selling 100,000 vehicles and $1.7 billion in profit due to that. I think it was 41 days of strike.
Well, Grayson, you know what so many people love about Ford is in 2008 during the financial crisis. Unlike General Motors, Ford did not take any bailout. So a lot of patriotic Americans love that about Ford, that they didn't take any money, no bailout. They wouldn't take any money from the government. And so it's really got a star in a lot of people's eyes that it didn't take any money. But, you know, with us, it's all about making our clients money. And so we really need to look deeper in this to see if Ford is actually poised for growth. You know, a lot of the expectations I look at for 2024 says that Ford probably will sell somewhere in the ballpark of 2 million vehicles, and their revenue should come out somewhere above $176 billion, which is a lot of money, and estimates that they would probably earn somewhere around $10 to $12 billion. And so, you know, that looks pretty good. You know, if you could get 5% and the company go close to 19, that's a pretty good return for 1 year. So the question that we have to ask, if the fundamentals look pretty good, here lately the relative strength has been kind of weak compared to the market, would it pass our biblical streams? And after going through this, what we find out is that Ford does not pass our biblical streams. And can you share with us what is happening at Ford and why they don't pass our biblical screens?
Yeah, so we have a number of things that we screen these companies for, and one of them is abortion, one of them is anti-family lifestyles, one of them is alcohol, tobacco, gambling, pornography, and what Ford fails on are two things. They fail on anti-family entertainment, which is some commercials that have things that go against what a Christian would believe in, and also they promote the homosexual and gender ideology that is so pervasive in the culture these days. But yeah, they promote that as far as legislation goes, philanthropy, and in their entertainment, obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but it did have something to do with that, and that's why they fail in that category as well.
So without a doubt, Ford Motor Company, we would not hold Ford in our biblically responsible portfolios. Until next time, God bless you.